So at the end of the year, pretty much here, we are here to talk about the top shows of 2022. Now, 2022 was such a good year for movies in general, but I think TV has really been killing it for the past like 10 years or so. We are truly in a golden age of TV. So this list was a lot harder to do than my top 10 movie list, which will come out as well today, so stay tuned for that. But before we get into it, we are currently still trying to fund our movie. You can check out the Indiegogo link down below. It is a horror movie we are working on, and we are 15 days away from trying to get to our goal. So I would really appreciate you go check it out and go share it. Whatever you can do to help goes a long way. But let's get into the top 10 shows of 2022, in my opinion. So I try to be as diverse as possible as I can, because I do like a lot of comedy. I do like a lot of horror and things like that. But here it is, my top 10 shows of 2022. So at number 10, we have What We Do in the Shadows, and I think this is one of the most underrated shows on this list. I really do think that this is one of the best comedies in a while, and probably of all time. This is just definitely one of those comedies that just keeps getting better and better as we go. And this past season that was in 2022, amazing, really loved it from beginning to end, was loving taking each episode in, and I'm excited for what the future holds for this show. I think this is definitely one of the strongest shows out there right now, and if you haven't checked it out, you should definitely go ahead and binge this. I think you can find all the episodes on Hulu right now, but What We Do in the Shadows comes in at number 10. So at number 9 we have Severance. This was a show that I got on a little late. As soon as it was premiering on Apple TV, I kept hearing about it, and during the first, second, or third episode, and I was like, I'll watch it. But at the time, I had a lot of shows I was juggling, and also a lot of movies that I had to catch up with and all of that, because this year we watched over like 100 movies, and I don't even know how many shows we watched, but we consumed so much media this year. So I was very much so late to the game on this one, but once I got into it, and I wrote it hard, binged a whole season, waited for the final 3 episodes, and was impressed and cannot wait for the next season to come. I think what they delivered with this one was such an amazing quality show that I'm excited to see where they go from here. And honestly, I cannot wait. Next season, let's go. So number 8 on my list is going to be The White Lotus. I was very much so a big fan of the first season of the first White Lotus. I was excited when that one got announced because it sounded so interesting. So when I watched the first season premiere and watched it all the way through the weekly episodes, excited like everybody was, and then when I heard White Lotus season 2 was coming, saw the cast and everything, I knew it was going to be a hit, and here we are with probably the best season of White Lotus so far, even though we're in season 2. This is a show that just got better and better. The writing, everything about it. Jennifer Coolidge in here and all of that. And I just thought this season was great. There was definitely a lot more drama and was much more intense than the previous season. So overall, I'm excited for what season 3 will bring. And I think The White Lotus is a show I could see going on for a bit. So that's why it came in at number 8 on my list. And number 7, I don't even know what I was saying right there. At number 7, we have Atlanta season 4. As we know, this was the final season of Atlanta. And yes, there were 2 seasons of Atlanta this year, so I'm going to have that one a little bit more down there. But Atlanta season 4, I think, was such a great way to end the show. This was the final season, by the way. I think that the level of, the show taking itself seriously, but at the same time being surreal, was very much so done better in another season than this season. But overall, this one felt more down to earth and really just trying to put the characters in their perspective paths of them growing from where they were in season 1. And I think the show really went out with one of the best endings of all time. So very much so, Atlanta season 4 deserves to be on this list. Next, we're going to have Peacemaker, a show that came out way early in the year, but still overall holds a big impact. I think this is definitely the way that I think a comic book movie or TV show, should definitely handle its characters. There was a lot of the comic feel that you need, the tropes and all of that, but at the same time grounded and leveled with so much humanity in it that it could definitely not even have to be anything about a comic book character, or you could take the superpower part of everything away and it would still be a great show overall. I think John Cena has really proven himself after this role that he is definitely that person that can take on any role and really make it his own, and the amount of humanity, like I said, in his character and the flawness of it was just amazing to watch week after week. So Peacemaker comes in at number 6. Number 5 on my list is Atlanta season 3. Now, like I said, there was 2 seasons of Atlanta this year, and they pretty much all followed the same way of being more surreal than the previous seasons. And I think season 3 was the most surreal of them all, and that's the reason it was definitely higher on my list than season 4. I enjoy that aspect of social commentary as well, added with a much more zanier feel to a show, where it very much so is like, what is even happening anymore, and it takes you a little bit more to dissect and process and talk about. I also enjoyed making the videos for this episodes, because it was so much like thinking about critical stuff and everything about it, and just really dissecting it, and it really made you appreciate the episodes even more after discussing it, and I just enjoyed it for that matter. Number 4 on my list is going to be The Boys, the latest season, of course. I've been a fan of The Boys ever since it got announced and the first season came out. And this latest season was just incredible and over the top. It really delivered some of the most memorable moments in the whole show, and I am excited for the next season. I think Homelander is really one of the best written characters we've had in such a long time, and just seeing him from where he was in the first episode to where we're headed to right now is just insane and such an intense ride, and I cannot wait to see where it's going to leave us. But The Boys is so good. Number 3 on my list is going to be Barry, the latest season, and this one was one that I was so pumped for, because we had been waiting so long for this new season. After the ending of season 2, we were all just anticipating and waiting, and of course, due to the pandemic and everything that's happened, we were pretty much put back in the back burner to wait for this show. But we finally got it this year, and it did not disappoint. Some of the best acting we've seen from everybody involved in this show, and honestly, what an intense finale. I cannot wait to see what comes out of this. But yeah, Barry was so good, so definitely check up on it if you haven't already. This next show did not even have any clue about it like the whole year until it just came out, and then I decided to binge on it, and that is The Bear. This is definitely one of those shows that I think was just done so well, executed perfectly. Everybody in here was very much so on their A game, and every episode delivered. One episode in particular, I was just watching, and by the time I'd ended, it was just like, what? That's it? It's over? Like, I didn't even feel time pass watching that episode, and that was just something that was so incredible to see to happen, is that when an episode feels so perfect, that it just like blends in, and by the time it's done, you're just there mad that it's done. It's something's done right there. So overall, The Bear is such a great show, and I'm excited for season 2. Last and not least, of course, this is my top pick, and if you don't know what it is by now, you gotta get on this show, and it is Better Call Saul, the final season. I think that this was one of those seasons that is just going to go down in history as one of the most perfect episodes ever. The finale, of course, I think is iconic already, and in 5-10 years, we're gonna look back on it and just realize how much of an iconic ending that was, in the same light that we see The Sopranos ending. And I'm here to say Better Call Saul is a better show overall than Breaking Bad. I was waiting for the show to end and all the seasons to wrap before I came to that conclusion, but by now I think it is safe to say that everything from beginning to end about this show was on a different level than Breaking Bad, and it goes all the credits to Vince Gilligan and his writers, because I think that they definitely have improved their game from the previous show, Breaking Bad, and they delivered such a great product here. I am a believer in all of them and will be excited to see where they go from here. And I'm just here to say, Better Call Saul at the Emmys, better sweep, because my goodness. But let me know your thoughts and your opinions on my top shows of 2022. Which ones did I miss that you have on your top 10? I'm curious to know. I did have a lot more. I could have made a top 20 for this list, but I just had to get it to 10. And like I said, this was a harder list to do than the top 10 movies, which you'll see later in the videos. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you're subscribed so you know when that drops, notification bell on. Make sure you are checking out our Indiegogo as well. We are 15 days away from getting to our goal, and we're not close, y'all, but hopefully we can get there pretty soon. But as always, that's going to do it for me. Make sure you follow me on all the social medias. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.